The engine hummed beneath my palms as I sat in the driver's seat, sweat gathering at my temples, the evaluator's clipboard resting on his knee like a final verdict waiting to be written. I had failed this test once already, and the thought of doing it again felt heavier than the car itself. When he finally said, "You passed," the words didn't land right away. They echoed, bounced around, and then settled somewhere deep in my chest where relief and disbelief collided. Her name was Elena. She was my driving instructor, older than me by enough years that she carried herself with a calm confidence I didn't yet understand. Not flashy, not strict in the way I expected, but steady. She had seen me stall at green lights, panic at roundabouts, and grip the wheel like it was the only thing keeping my life from spinning off course. When I stepped out of the testing center, certificate in hand, she was waiting by her car. She smiled in that knowing way, like she had passed this test with me. "You did it," she said simply. I laughed, a short, shaky sound. I thought I'd mess it up again. She shook her head. "You didn't. Because you finally trusted yourself." On the drive back, she offered to take me home. My parents were working late, and I didn't mind the company. The city slid past the windows in soft afternoon light, and for the first time in weeks, my shoulders relaxed. It wasn't about the license anymore. It was about something loosening inside me. Elena had been my instructor for 3 months, but she'd quietly become something else along the way. Not a replacement parent, not a friend, but a guide. She'd noticed the way I apologized too much, the way I hesitated before every decision. Once, during a lesson gone wrong, I'd slammed the brakes too hard and muttered that I was just bad at this. She had pulled the car over and looked at me, really looked at me. "You're not bad," she said. "You're scared of making mistakes. Those aren't the same thing." No one had ever said that to me before. That afternoon, traffic thickened near my neighborhood, and she took a longer route, cutting through quieter streets. When we stopped in front of my house, neither of us moved right away. The moment lingered, stretched thin by unspoken thoughts. "Want to walk a bit?" she asked. "You look like your head's full." So we walked. Past the small park where I'd learned to ride a bike, past the corner store where I'd once worked part-time, past the places that had shaped me without my permission. I told her things I hadn't planned to say. About my dad leaving when I was younger. About how I felt like I was always behind, watching other people move forward while I stood still, waiting for instructions. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she nodded slowly. "Becoming an adult isn't a moment," she said. "It's a series of choices. Some loud. Some quiet. Today was one of the quiet ones." The challenge I hadn't admitted, even to myself, was that I didn't know how to step out of the shadow of other people's expectations. I had done what I was told, followed rules, waited for approval. Failing that first driving test had felt like proof that I wasn't ready for more. But passing the second time didn't fix everything. It simply opened a door. What lay beyond it was still uncertain. We reached my house, the porch light flickering on as evening settled in. She stopped a few steps away. "I won't be your instructor anymore," she said gently. "But I hope you remember this feeling. The moment you realized you could do something hard." I nodded, throat tight. "I will." That night, lying in bed, I replayed the day from start to finish. I realized that becoming a man wasn't about bravado or sudden confidence. It was about responsibility. About accepting fear without letting it decide everything. About understanding that guidance can shape you, but it's your hands on the wheel in the end. In the weeks that followed, I drove everywhere. Not because I had to, but because I could. Each trip felt like a small declaration: I'm moving forward. I made mistakes, took wrong turns, stalled once at a busy intersection and laughed instead of panicking. The real challenge wasn't the test. It was learning to trust myself after years of doubt. The resolution came quietly, in moments of choice, not applause. Months later, I ran into Elena at the grocery store. We exchanged a brief smile, a nod of mutual recognition. No big conversation. None was needed. She had helped me start the journey, but the road was mine now. That night I understood something clearly for the first time. Growing up doesn't announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives disguised as an ordinary day, a simple pass, a long walk home. And if you're paying attention, you realize you didn't just earn a license. You earned belief in yourself.